We're here at the Eastman Career Fair. It's a fair for 8th graders. We do every year. We have about 2,000 8th graders that will come through here over the course of 4 days to learn about job opportunities in communications, health and human services. We have people here talking about chemists, being a chemist or a chemical engineer at Eastman. We have some professors here from Northeast State. So it's just a wide variety of career opportunities for these students to introduce them to what's out there and what kind of skills that they're going to need if they want to pursue some of these opportunities.
Hi, I'm Heath McMillan. I'm here today at the Eastman Career Fair explaining the field mechanic process at Eastman Chemical. We have several different types of metals here that I've been explaining to the children and exactly what a field mechanic might do. We also have several different things here on the presentation of what a field mechanic would do at Eastman. We have millwright, we have welding and pipe fitting. I'm not sure if you can see this on the screen here, but that's basically what we're explaining is how those skill sets are obtained here at Eastman.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mark Pollock. I work out at Northeast State Technical Community College. I'm here today during this 8th graders career fair. We're seeing about 2,000 students in 4 days, and we just finished a session this morning. I'm going to hurry straight back to my class, which is a physical science class. And what we did in our group, which is lots of chemistry and physics demonstrations involving the students that are here on the floor. And so we had volunteers, and we had a few free giveaway things. But the whole purpose of what we're doing, and probably all of us here at this thing this week, is to get people excited about math, science, engineering, technology. In fact, all career areas, and I'm trying to get people really turned on to science and mathematics because I think those are core central knowledge skills that people need, even if they're going out to be a business person or food service or whatever it might be, to know more about math and science. And so we did a lot of neat demonstrations with the students. They seem to be excited. I hope that they'll take that excitement back to their middle schools and proceed on to get good grades from here through high school. I tell them it's free from 8th grade to high school. After that, it costs you money to go to college. And so that's part of the message, too, is to do this. And we link it to globalization and the fact that people all over the world are learning more and doing more than Americans have been doing. And so we want to level the playing field and compete globally. And we're really brought to the front of our thinking is the depressed economy right now. So this is an extra special message to them, but I didn't go into long lengths about that.
Hi, we are with Wellmont Health Systems, and we spoke to 8th grade students today about becoming nurses and working in healthcare. And then we taught them how to do the Heimlich for somebody who is choking and what to do in case of that emergency.
Welcome. My name is Barry Brickey. I'm with the Kingsport Fire Department. I'm the public education officer. I do a little bit different things than a lot of our firefighters do. This is my full-time job, to go around and teach people about fire safety and to talk about what we do at the fire department. Now, today we're going to talk about all the different careers that we have at the fire department. We have fire suppression, which means, anybody know? Putting down a fire. Yeah, we put the fire out. Fire prevention. We prevent fires. That's right. You guys are going to get all this. And then first response. What's a first responder do? Emergencies. That's right. Inside Kingsport, if you were to have a heart attack, if you fall down and make your arm look like a pretzel or anything like that, and you call 911, a fire truck shows up. And why does a fire truck show up if I hurt myself? Well, everybody that's on that truck is trained to help you in any situation. Matter of fact, we can do just about we can do anything that an ambulance can do except transport you to the hospital. We could throw you up on the hose bed, but it probably wouldn't be too comfortable. Now, we're going to talk about all the different things that we do, and all the pictures that you're going to see are pictures of the Kingsport firefighters in action. Now, I work in fire prevention, which is code enforcement, education, plans review, arson investigation, and training. Now, all the new buildings that come into Kingsport, we have to make sure that all those are fire safe, that they have those things up there that are on the ceiling. That's a sprinkler system or a smoke alarm. And then they have to have the right amount of exits and things like that. Because if you were in that building and there was an emergency, you would want to get out, right? Right. All right. So we do all those things. Now, this picture is kind of hard to see. This is our fire marshal and also one of our inspectors. They are actually in a business that caught on fire. Now, we went into the business after they put the fire out and noticed that the fire started about this high off the floor. What do you think caused it? Who said that? Hey, actually, that was pretty good. because it actually was a candle. Now, a lot of people don't realize this about fires, is that fire leaves kind of like patterns and traces, and you can pinpoint where a fire started just by looking at the patterns and things like that it has left. Now, this is a little bit different here. If you'll notice, there's no walls. There's no ceiling. This building actually went to the grounds. We had an arsonist who lit this building on fire. This is an arson dog, and she is actually pointing to a spot where there was still an accelerant left. If somebody pours something out to burn, like a building, it leaves traces. And so we can find those traces and send them off and work with the TBI and the police department, and we make an arrest. Now, this person who did this, actually, I think they're still in jail. Last year in Kingsport, we prosecuted about 8 different individuals, and those were all for arson, and arson's a felony. And they get to go away for a little while and think about what they did. Now, I do public events. Of course, there's Sparky, the fire dog. You all got to meet him downstairs. This is one of our really fun events. This is at Fun Fest. This is a splash dance. Anybody go to splash dance? Yeah? Well, we're going to do it again this year. So come out there and join us for that. Now, this is fire suppression. As a matter of fact, this is the building I was telling you about a minute ago where the dog was, where the arson had happened. If you see the fire department outside of the building with the ladders up, spraying water, and also the firefighters kind of holding the hose there on the ground, that means the building's going all the way down. It's too late for us to go inside and to put the fire out, and we're outside in a defensive position making sure that the fire doesn't spread to the buildings beside of it. Now, the state of Tennessee has a really big problem with fire death. We kill more people in the state of Tennessee from house fires and other types of fires almost than any other state. And it's because people smoke, they cook, they do things, and they don't think about a fire happening. Now, we've got some different fire scenes here. Now, this picture that's up here, that firefighter's not really going to hit him with the axe, okay? They're venting a roof. And what they're doing is actually cutting holes in the roof, putting some water in there. And when you cut holes in the roof, the hot gases and the hot smoke comes out, which cools off the inside of the building. How many of you know fire's hot? All right, good. How many know that the smoke from a fire can be just as hot as the fire can be? Good. Now, you know what? If that trash can that's over there in the side, if it caught fire, this room would actually be in pretty good shape because it has a sprinkler system. And you can actually get those in your houses now, which if you had a fire would put the fire completely out. And you would be pretty well safe and not even hurt at all. But if this room didn't have a sprinkler system and we had that fire, smoke would rise up. The temperature from about 6 feet, which is here, up to the ceiling could be 175 degrees within 45 seconds. After about a minute, that hot air and the gases and the smoke keeps pushing down. And it could be 175 to 200 degrees from here up, and then over 300 degrees from here up. That's why when you were in elementary school and you went through the Learn Not to Burn program and they said to get down low and crawl under smoke and things like that, it's because the smoke from a fire, not only if it's cool enough to breathe it, it can knock you out and keep you from getting out of your house and make you disoriented, or if it's even hotter, it could actually burn the inside of your throat and your lungs. And so that's why it's important if you do have a fire to stay down low. Now, in these different pictures, this is a picture over at AGC Glass. They actually had a kiln that burst, and that is molten glass flowing across the floor. That doesn't happen very often, thankfully, but they called us in to help them contain that so their building wouldn't burn down. Now, we do all types of different first response, and usually when we go help somebody, it's a bad day. Somebody's having the worst day of their life when we go out. And this lady had a really bad day. She was sitting in an intersection over on Stone Drive, and a dump truck full of dirt turned over on her car. They had to dig the car out, cut the top of the car off, dig the dirt out of the car, and then get her out and get her on the way to the hospital. She made it through this one amazingly. This picture down here, we also run into people who do things that aren't very smart at all. This person did something that was not very smart. They were cooking meth in their house, and they blew their house up. Yeah, that's not very smart at all. Now, what's going to happen is our firefighters have gone in. They've got the hazardous material outfits on that keeps them protected from all the toxic junk that was coming off of the meth. They have to go in, clean everything out, seal it up, send it off to be destroyed. So not only did the person blow themselves up in their house, they got to go to the hospital, they lost everything in their house, and they got to go to jail for a long time. So not a very smart thing at all. Now, we do all kinds of other types of rescues. This is training. Here, this is swift water rescue. This is in the Nolichucky River. We have a lot of flooding in our area, and the area is prone to flooding, and so we have to know what to do in case. We even had an accident yesterday where a car had gone off into the Horse Creek over here, and a couple of people perished, and we had to put people in the water to get in there to try to save their lives. And so we practice those things. This is a trench rescue. We had a couple of people who actually perished inside this. This is I believe it was at least a 45 to 60-ton boulder that pushed itself out of the wall, and it took 2 cranes to pick it up so we can at least get them out. Now, if you want to be a firefighter, there are really cool days. Being a firefighter is one of the most respected jobs that you can ever go for. And this is the 4th of July parade. Here's all of our firefighters in their dress uniforms. They looked really sharp that day. Now, if you want to be a firefighter, when you're 16 years old, you can actually go volunteer at a volunteer fire department. You can't fight a fire, but you can volunteer and start learning. You can't fight a fire until you're 18 at that volunteer fire department. But when you're in high school, you might want to get in some science classes, maybe some chemistry because of the hazardous chemicals and things we deal with, health-related classes, and healthcare, those types of things, even mathematics, because we need to know how much water can go through that hose, and if we've got 500 feet of hose laid out, do we have enough water pressure at the other end to put the fire out? Those are things that we need to know. Now, if you want to be a firefighter, once you get out of high school, you can go to like the Northeast State or probably pretty soon downtown here and get some EMT training and also paramedic training. That paramedic training is actually 2.5 years. Then once you're hired by the Kingsport Fire Department, you go to basic firefighter rookie school, we like to call it. It's kind of like basic training for firefighters. You get to go for like 12 weeks and learn every single thing that there is to know about being a firefighter. And then all the time at the fire department, we continually train. Matter of fact, I just went through my CPR recertification just last week because we need to know the best way to help you if you were to have an emergency. Now, does anybody want to be a firefighter? Anybody thought about it? You do? Cool. You want to put my gear on? Seriously, you want to put it on? Yeah? All right, come on. Kick your shoes off. Hurry, let's go. Now, if we were at the fire station, we would have 60 seconds or less to get out. Take your shoes off. Come on. The truck is going to leave you. You just put your feet right down in those boots. See those boots right there? Put your feet in there. Whoop, don't fall down. Now reach down, pull your suspenders up. Throw them over your shoulders. Now, we're going to put your jacket on. Sling that over your other shoulder. Put it on. Here's your helmet. Now what we're going to do is going to put your air pack on here. I'll have to get you to hold this. Can you hold this a second? Now what we're going to do, you have to come over this way. What we're going to do is going to put the air pack on you. So this is just like a backpack. Now pop it up to your shoulder. And you're going to reach right around here. There's a buckle there. There's another buckle there. Buckle it up. All right, pull this. There's one on each side. Pull this one here. Pull it. Reach right here. There's some other straps. Pull those. All right. Now, if you were going to go in and fight a fire, you'd actually have a little more gear on. And once you get all this gear on, it weighs about 75 pounds. Now, are you getting warm in there yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is kind of warm, isn't it? Yeah, it doesn't take very long to get warm in there, but this is what we would wear to go in to help somebody and get them out of a fire. Good job. Let's give him a big hand. You can take it off, unless you, well, you know, hey, we'll put you to work today if you want. All right, does anybody have any questions about being a firefighter? Go ahead and unbuckle that down there. Pull the other clip up on that side. Just pull it up. All right, now I'm going to put this on the ground. Now I'll drop the jacket, then you can step right out of the pants. But you have to leave them on the boots for it to be right. There you go. I think he's going to do it. Yeah, he did. Good job. All right. Anybody have any questions? No? Yes?
Now, you guys also train with the Eastman Fire
Yes.
Department?
Yes, we do.
Do you train with county
We do some multiple agency training. We have like hazardous material training, and there's people from all over the region. We have a regional fire school for all the volunteer fire departments. They send a lot of their people there. Johnson City, Bristol, Tennessee, and Kingsport, Greenville, Jonesboro. We all go in together and try to train all of our firefighters, the rookies, all at the same time. And so, yeah, there's a lot of cooperation throughout Northeast Tennessee, and we really need that. We need to work together because we live in a smaller area, and we could have any type of emergency. Do we ever leave the area? We have on request. People can request help if we've got the personnel to go do it. We've actually gone into Southwest Virginia sometimes and done some work and things like that. So anytime anybody needs any help, we'll go help them.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you all.
In Tennessee, to be a police officer, you have to be 18 years old. You can't even buy bullets till you're 21, but you have to be at least 18 to be a police officer. Most places will not hire you until you get 21 because the maturity level. Once you get 21, you're a little bit more mature than you are at 18. The more mature you are, the better you're going to be, the better employee you're going to be. So we'd like you to be a little bit more mature. You have to have high school education. Within the next couple of years, if you don't have a college degree, you'll never get hired in law enforcement. It's getting that technical. We have to have a good education in order to do our jobs with the technologies out here today. Right now in Kingsport, for me to promote, I've got to have a college degree. If I don't have a degree, I cannot promote. So a college degree is very good. When you get out of high school, trust me, take as much college as you can as soon as you can. It's the best thing out there. I know a lot of you think, well, why would I do it? We'll talk about that in a minute. Trust me, the college is where it's at. You have to have no criminal record. But just because you're under age 18 does not mean we cannot go back and find out what you did in school. If you've got a history of in-school suspensions, going to JCDC, things like that, getting in trouble, that can be used against you to keep you from getting a job. If you have one mistake, a person kind of overlook it. Everybody can make a mistake every now and then, can't he? But if you have the several mistakes on and on and on and on, does that show a pattern? Yes, that shows us that the person cannot do their job, so that person most likely would not get hired. So if you've got a good record, you're in good shape. If I get charged with anything right now, I lose my job. Not only do I go to jail, I lose my job, my career, and my retirement. So I've got to keep a good record with it. You have to have a valid driver's license. In Tennessee, Kingsport, as a policeman, we drive from call to call to call. We have to have a license in order to drive. If I don't have a driver's license, I can't do my job, so I don't get to work. We have to have the ability to work with little supervision and to work well with others. If I go out here on a call, sometimes I don't have a chance to call my supervisor and say, this is what I've got going on. Due to the situation, I've got to make a decision right now that might affect somebody for the rest of their life. I've got to be able to make that decision and base that decision on my training, my knowledge, and my ability of the situation in hand. The decision I make, an attorney has to go back and can have several years to go back at it and pick at it as to why I did this instead of doing this. I've got to make that decision in seconds. They've got years to go back and analyze it. We have to have some of the benefits of our job. Start out pays about $29,000 in this area. That's not bad. It could be a lot better, but it could be a lot worse. So start out pay is not bad. They pay us for holidays and vacations. We go out here on, I need to take a week off, they will pay me to take a day off. If I've got to work on Christmas, they pay. I can get an next day off sometime later on that year for Christmas holiday. So it works out pretty good with us. They pay my retirement. In about 4.5, 5 years, I get to retire. Thank goodness. Sergeant Earls has got about 7 years. Once we get to retire, the money that's been put in my retirement, the city put that in there for me. I didn't have to. That's one of the benefits I get, so can draw a pretty decent retirement with it. They give me college tuition. If I want to go back to school to learn and better myself, as long as I have a 3.0 average or better and attend the classes, they will reimburse me to go back to class. So why not do that while I get a chance? They pay me to do it, I'll do it. But the best part of it, they furnished me my uniforms and equipment. What do you think it costs me to outfit what I've got on right here, right now? What you see? Yes. $3,000. He's pretty close. Here's just a brief rundown of what it costs me. My shoes run about $80. My pants are $80. My shirt's $70. My badge, collar brass, things like that, that's another $150, $200. My duty belt, my leather gear, that's about $350. My taser is $500. My radio's $1,200. My weapons, $650. My body armor is about $850. That's just what you see right here. Now, they've given me, this is not the only uniform I've got. I've got several long-sleeve shirts, my winter uniforms. I've got summer uniforms, raincoats, winter coats, toboggans, gloves, hats, summer hats, winter hats, call-out gear, Fun Fest gear, things like that. That's a lot of money that I didn't have to come up with. The city furnished that to me for part of my job. Most jobs you go to, you got to furnish your own uniforms. I'm lucky. They furnish all of mine. Not only do they furnish that, they furnish me a car to drive in while I'm at work. They put the gas, the oil, the insurance in it. All I've got to do is keep it clean and make sure it gets serviced. I can use that car while I'm at work as part of my job. I'm lucky. I get to drive a Mustang. That's great. I get to tool around a Mustang all day long. That's part of my job. Sergeant Earls gets to drive the big high-powered cars. This is Sergeant Earls' big hot rod car. He actually gets to drive the Dodge Hemi. He drives a big Hemi car. His car's parked outside beside mine. We get to drive some of the more powerful cars based on what we do. And we're going to talk about that right now. Some of the specialized units here at Kingsport Police Department. The best unit of all is the traffic unit. By far is the best unit. And the reason why it's the best unit, that's the unit we're on. We like traffic. I've been on traffic since 1991. All I do 8 hours a day is work wrecks, enforce traffic laws, and if I'm lucky, I get to come do things like this. This is the best part of my job. Come out to meet people, talk with people. I learn a lot by talking to people. And this way, you get to see like we are. We're not something out here that's going to jump out and bite you. We put our pants on just like you do, one leg at a time. We're human. Our job is our job, but we're just like everybody else. The sad thing with our job, the worst part of our job, is telling someone that their loved ones had been killed in a car crash. Last night, we had 2 people got killed in a car wreck. Sergeant Earls and I worked that wreck last night. We had to go find the families and tell them that their loved ones are not coming home. That's tough. I've cried with people. I've had to hold people keep from hitting me. I can still see, I've been doing this for 25 years, I can still see every face of every fatality that I've worked. I can still see every family member that I've ever had to tell that their loved one's not coming home. That sticks with you forever. That's not easy. Think about what it would be like if you had to go tell someone that their husband, wife, mother, father, or brother, or sister is not coming home. That's tough. Let's go to the next unit. That's going to be our community police unit. This group is specially trained to go into a small area of the community in order to help solve problems. And we use the community back here behind us. For example, if they've got a problem with somebody coming in causing vandalisms, I can come in and take a report, which helps get the information out there, but that does not solve the problem, does it? To solve the problem, we've got to go in and create a solution to solve it. So if we've got a problem of vandalisms, I'll call the community police people in. They'll come in and go in the community. They'll talk with the residents. What's the problem? What do we need to do to help solve it? Let's work together, get a solution. We'll put the solution, we'll implement it, and solve the problem. Once they solve that problem, they come out and go someplace else where we have another problem. So our community police guys get to go in and stay in one area, a small area, and help solve problems. Our next unit is our canine units. Our canines are a very vital part of our department. We have 4 dogs. We have German Shepherds and Belgian Malamars. These dogs are cross-trained. They're trained in patrol tactics, which by being patrol tactics, they can apprehend people, they can track people, and they can do article searches. And by doing an article search, say for instance, somebody drives down the street and throws out a weapon out into a big high-grass field. Instead of me going out there and trying to hunt for half a day to find it, we can bring the dog in, and just in a very few minutes, that dog will find it. That saves us time. We can go get it quicker and get it back out. And the rest of them, all of them are cross-trained. 3 of the dogs are trained in narcotics detection. They can sniff out illegal narcotics. If you've got drugs in your car, they can walk around the outside of the car and let us know there's drugs in that car. If they're searching the house, for example, they can walk on the floor and sniff, do the sniff, and they can tell if something's in the attic, behind the walls, or hidden in the furniture and things like that just by walking around and smelling. That's very good. That saves us a lot of time on searching because they go right straight to the source. The other dog we have is trained in explosive detection, or bomb dog. If I had to search this building right here, it would take about 20 of us, about 6 or 8 hours just to search this building. we'd probably miss 2/3 of the stuff we was looking for. It's not that we'd be sloppy searchers. This is a big building, isn't it? Now, we could bring the dog in, search it for a bomb. He could search it in about an hour, search this whole building from top to bottom. That's pretty good. That saves time. The dog would not miss anything. The dog could see stuff that I wouldn't see. They could smell stuff that I couldn't smell. They could locate it quicker, which makes it quicker and better for everybody involved. So our K9 unit is a very vital portion of what we do. Our next unit is our domestic violence unit. We get this type of call, a domestic call, we get that old, ooh, this is going to be bad feeling. And a domestic call is a bad feeling. That is the most dangerous call we go on because emotions are high. Usually somebody's been assaulted. And if we go on the scene, once we find out who the primary aggressor is, by law we got to make an arrest. So now we're getting into jeopardy. Which room in your house is the most dangerous room you got? What? Kitchen. Why? Knives. What about skillets, glasses, plates, spoons, forks? That's a danger zone, isn't it? I see it as a danger zone. When I go into anybody's house, I see a kitchen as a danger zone. That's my job. Even when I'm off duty, it's hard for me to go into a kitchen because I know it's a danger zone. But where's the first place we usually go when we get home from school or get home from work and stuff? We go to the kitchen. That's a comfort zone, isn't it? We get something to eat, something to drink. You have company come over. Eventually they end up in the kitchen, don't they? That's a comfort area. We all do that. That's just the way we are because we associate the kitchen with a happy place. We get food, we get drink with it. That's a meeting place. So to us, we try to get the people away from the kitchen whenever we go in on calls because of the weapons in there. Our next unit is our detective division. Our detective division is broke down into two groups. We have the jacket and tie division. That's the ones that come out and does the follow-ups to the burglaries, the robberies, the thefts, forgeries, things like that. They come out and do the investigations that we don't have time to as a patrol officer. They handle a lot of the felony investigations, the murders, the robberies, things like that. They can spend the time on that because they've been specially trained in it. That's a very vital portion of our department. The other unit is the vice detectives. This is the officer that works undercover. They buy drugs, stolen property, things of that nature, hunt down fugitives. They can come in, they work plain clothes. If they walked in the door right now, Sergeant Earls and I would not even speak to them. They wouldn't speak to us. It's not that we don't get along together. It's the fact they're probably working on something. I don't want to take a chance of blowing their cover, and they don't want to take a chance of putting me in jeopardy of knowing them. And the only bad thing, the bad fall with being on the device division, they miss out on a lot of things. They can't go a lot of times with their family out to eat, go to sporting events, things like that because of their job. Some of them, sometimes they go out and they might not come home for 3 or 4 days because they're working a case. They can come in today and look like they're a part of a biker gang. Tomorrow they might be wearing jacket and ties because they're working in white-collar crimes. So they've got to be able to blend in or be like a chameleon, be able to blend into different situations. And the last unit we got is our SWAT team. Our SWAT team goes in and gets barricaded suspects or high-risk arrest. We have one of our SWAT guys, Big John. Big John's about 6'8", about 280 pounds. He's a big man. When Big John gets geared up in his SWAT gear, he comes to the door, he takes the whole door up. And behind him is 12 other officers coming in behind him, the rest of the team, because Big John's a big man. Would that scare you? You see somebody coming in with a helmet, goggles, pads, stuff like that coming at you at full force? It's going to scare me to death. So Big John is an all right guy. Anybody have any questions on anything? Yes, sir. No. The Mustang was really mine, but his car's out front.